Attempt number 2. I can hear now, I think. Now let's see if I can hear somebody else. Let's see. I think one of my earphones is going, but that shouldn't be that big of an issue. Before I mess with starting the music, because I was having issues, I'm going to hold off and go through my bass again. So, I'm blocking in still. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Burnt Umber. I don't know if you can see it real well. Now I can hear you.
What's up?
So I'm going to use Burnt Umber.
All right.
And I'm going to use cadmium yellow dark and titanium white.
You can hear me.
Yep, I'm doing a mixture. Yeah, it's really distorting when I can't hear anything. Like
Right.
I'll look over and I can see your mouth moving and I can't hear anything. I know the music's supposed to have gone, but I can't hear it. I couldn't even hear the open countdown. So
that sucks.
I'm like, yeah. And I had a viewer that popped in and then popped back out, but I'm going to have to delete the first one. So anyway, if I get around to it, so I'm going to use the cadmium yellow dark and the titanium white to mix a lighter color for the moon.
All right.
And then pearl red with probably some cadmium yellow dark and a little bit of titanium white if I get there to start blocking in the wings. I don't know how much I want to do where I'm worried about it being orange.
Right.
Which I want to. I want to get those wings standing out, but the main thing is to get the characters separated out and get the moon in. And the Burnt Umber goes everywhere. The only thing it doesn't go in is the moon in the sky.
Right.
So it's going to be in Cthulhu. It's going to be in the figures. It's going to be in the rocks. Oh, it's not going to be in the fire chain. Well, a little bit in the fire for the smoke, I bet. But so squeeze a bunch of it on. The other one, actually, it's been, 2 days since I painted?
Yeah.
And I picked up the other plate, and the other plate still had a little bit of blue on it and that a little bit of brown, but I think because I spritzed some water on it, I could reactivate it a little bit. So I reactivated the blue a little bit to see what I could do. It was a thin down, and I've just kind of darkened this a little bit. Nothing that anybody would really miss on screen. So,
right on.
And I figure once I get started doing the detail work, like I'm gonna focus on probably one character at a time.
Right.
Well, let's see. What I'm gonna do is this is the mixing solution. I'm gonna get a little bit on there, but I don't know how much I'm gonna actually use because I'm attempting to do much more straight out the tube and mixing instead of, because these paints, the whole point of these paints is they stay moist longer. A lot of acrylics dry so fast.
Right.
They dry in the day. Like when I put this stuff on, the first layer of it, the burnt sienna dried by the end of the broadcast, pretty much.
Q. Well, not cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, because then I could cover it, but you can't mix it and go back into it unless you have some kind of moistening or thinning agent.
Right.
All right, so
Moisture.
I'm gonna go in.
Alice! Alice! Oh, sorry. Bam, 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 bam,
I
bam.
probably should put some music on. I want to check into that. I guess I haven't had the opportunity yet, but
Mm,
I want to check into seeing if I get the permission from the band if I
right.
can do that without getting a strike. Because I
I can
think,
barely see what you're doing, man. You're like all the way down at the bottom.
yeah, and I don't know how much I can change that because I don't have any room to slide the painting up. Let's see if I can
Right on.
tilt the camera back just a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
I just have to remember to tilt the camera.
Be nice if you had a little remote control that'll do it for you. That'd be awesome.
Well,
What?
see, here's the thing. I've got a program that I can literally uh, scroll this way or scroll that way
Okay.
or that way with the camera without moving it if I center it.
Right.
But the problem is it doesn't work while that camera is being used in another application.
Nah. All right.
Yeah, so,
What good is that, man?
right. I don't think this brush wants to work for me on the human form as well as it did on the others. So, my trusty water container.
There you go.
I probably just sent in the paint, but it's my art desk, so.
What's
Ta-da.
up, big lady? Easy. Old rat dog. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna use my round brush. I really like this round brush actually. Okay, I guess we'll try some music now.
All right.
Just so that it's not dead quiet in the background.
True. I mean, I can sing for you if you want. You
We can talk about topics also.
Yeah, man.
That is not commentary about your opinion. As you know, I've got nothing really invested in this music. It's just background sound.
Right on. Oh, sorry.
Eli was saying earlier, he's like, "You streaming night, Uncle Joe?"
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
I tried to get him to come on screen or on the stream. You don't want to. I'm not surprised, but like he did. I've got a short video in my playlist with him. But
I've seen it.
that's like the most I've ever. I was shocked. I was like, "Do you want to come and be on this with me?" And he's like, "Yep." And I was like, "Wow, really? We'll take it."
Very cool.
I think he's still a little bit under the weather. He come home from school and napped a little bit.
Right on.
So I'm interested in checking that movie out. I just got to get a card that works Amanda offered me our joint bank account card to do it, but like I don't know what source actually they got that card information from, because I don't just spread my card information around.
Right on.
Most of it, they're secure service. So I don't. The only thing that I can imagine, because it was the most recent edition, was I ordered a book for a friend of mine, and I ordered it from a place that's new to me, and I thought they had a secure server too, but someone didn't have a secure server.
Right on.
Yeah, so we've got to figure out a show.
Yeah, man.
I know. Like, one of the things we can do is we can like watch movie trailers and offer our opinions about them, and just we have to stop them every so often.
Right.
I really have to find out the rules on it. I read the rules, but I read them pretty quickly. I just wanted to get going, and my intent wasn't to like do feedback on. I don't know why I don't have the name. Like when you leave your opinion at Amazon, it's called a
Yeah, that's what it's for. What, a rating or no?
well, yeah, there's a name for it when you describe it. Like you see a lot of reaction videos, their reactions, or this other word. I don't know why it's escaping me, but it is.
It'll come to you, man.
Brain funk. Yeah, it'll come to me when it's no longer relevant.
You'll be laying down almost asleep. You'll pop up.
No, it'll just be after the stream's over and nobody else cares.
Well,
Review. That's what it is, a review.
that's the word, man.
Yeah, like movie reviews or book reviews.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. We could do that with a trailer. I kind of want to watch that movie that I was telling you about. That's the new Donnie Yen. And Donnie Yen wrote and directed it.
All right.
It's based on something else, obviously, but Donnie Yen's a badass.
No kid, man.
Well, this is a wuxia too. So it's it has magic, and wuxias generally are stories that are about martial artists, about warriors, and they have a little bit of mythology and magic in them.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I need to get a hold of a drill, man, so I can put my shelves up.
Amanda just put up my, some of the Frank Frazetta plates I've got from Fire and Ice.
Right on.
Like, if you watch at the beginning of Fire and Ice, he's got 5 drawings.
Mm-hmm.
Like Necron with a cave with a floating skull, Necron on his throne, like with his hand troubled, and like his leaning his head into his hand. And then the tribes are migrating, and the subhumans attacking the tribes, and Princess Tigra and her father and her brother, like Princess Jared or Prince Jared or Jarek or whatever it is.
Jareth, I believe.
I watched it not all that long ago, but for some reason it's not coming to me. I know it starts with that sound, but
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen it spelled out. The only thing that really sucks is that Frank didn't do a Dark Wolf print or a drawing like that, because if he'd have done that, that would be center stage.
Yeah.
Can you see her? Yeah, no.
Yeah, I see.
Brown. Oh, I could probably enlarge my screen, right?
I didn't get that.
I said I probably should enlarge my screen like this.
There you go. Yay!
And people may actually be able to see what I'm doing.
I can almost take off my glasses now. Almost.
Yeah, I've got my glasses on too, so I don't feel bad.
It's like Clark Kent. Superman.
Yeah, I've got that feeling too, except for uglier.
Come on, man.
My claim to fame is not beauty. Never has been.
Well, you know, mine is
I was lucky enough to have a beautiful head of hair at one time.
right. I had a beautiful afro at one time. Big ass 5-minute afros. The afro round the corner, 5 minutes later, you come walking behind it. Yeah, yeah. Damn it. I got sick of fucking with it. And you shaved my head at the tattoo shop was the first time.
What's that?
Remember the first time you shaved my head at your tattoo shop?
Which tattoo shop?
Yeah, we were sitting out in the front yard of it.
You talking about Jimmy's?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't mine, but yeah.
Well,
I worked there.
yeah. I thought you were like partial owner or whatever.
No, I was
yeah,
supposed to be
partners.
half owner when he moved back up to New Hampshire, which is why I ended up coming to Maine.
All right. Yeah.
But that never worked out.
Well,
One of the issues was his wife and mine had different opinions on how much they should stick their nose in our tattooing business.
heard.
And he's not with her anymore, you know, but
Yeah. You talked to him?
but it did kind of ruin what was going on.
Right on.
What'd you say?
You heard from him lately? You guys still
Jimmy, I
talk?
have not. Like, I haven't heard from him in a long time. Since just around the time my mom died.
All right.
Because I went down there to take care of that. Well, actually, I went down to visit my mom when she got hit by the car.
Right. I remember. Right.
And I worked a guest spot with Jimmy so that I could, you know, earn a little bit of money while I was down there.
Move it, move it.
But he had a new girlfriend that was, I don't know, it's weird to hear a girl from Florida with a southern accent trying to talk like Jimmy. And she was dead out trying to copy what all of his little idiosyncrasies, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's a colloquialism from where he's from, but instead of going, you know, or whatever to fill that pause,
Uh-huh.
his was turn around. Like, Me and Amanda used to joke that if we turned around every time Jimmy told us, we'd fucking be dizzy and laying on the ground. So like, you can like turn around every story, turn around, turn around.
Right.
Like, but it's a Jimmy-ism to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know a few people that are from that area, and they don't talk like that. But that doesn't mean like the crew that he hung out with doesn't.
Right.
But it was he had a New Hampshire accent, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a chick that I'm gonna get me some gators too. Is trying to do the turnaround.
Right.
No, that don't work. You can't turn around in slow motion.
Turn around.
Turn around.
Yeehaw.
That's I guess that's the first time I ever really saw a girl tried to imitate how a guy talks. Like, yeah, this is a cool way of talking, but it really wasn't a cool way of talking. Everybody else is like, what?
Well, you know.
I remember like the first time he was trying to tell me we had a warped head. Remember?
Yeah.
I think you got a warped head.
What?
A what?
A warped head?
Like,
No, it's warped.
don't say that around Vinny.
Right? I can't believe you're saying this to me today on this day of days.
Yeah, right. On this, the day of my daughter's wedding.
She turned around and got him right in the gabagoose. Right in the gabagoose. Okay, I'm done now. No offense to anybody. Yeah. I found it. I found it. I have the Infinity Gauntlet. Oh. I have a very little hand. Here I am.
That's the Infinity Gauntlet for the Burger King kid.
Yeah, man. Damn. Oh, shit. There goes half the world. I'm sorry. I gotta stop snapping my fingers like that when I'm wearing my glove. What the hell?
I'm probably the only one that didn't really bother watching that movie.
Yeah, you didn't miss a whole lot, really.
No, I didn't figure I did.
Yeah. I mean, it was visually appeasing, but
yeah, I find that a lot lately. I mean, they use some good special effects or whatever, but
yeah. If you read the comic book, it left you. It was lacking. You know, it was nothing like the Infinity Gauntlet series.
Right. I misheard you a little bit, and now I want to do a whole different series called the Obscenity Gauntlet.
Hey! You don't wear it here. Check this out, man. Aaliyah gave me this for my birthday. Crystal Tower. It's pretty cool. Ta-da! Here. Yeah.
Yep, very cool.
Yeah, man. She got a whole bunch of it, man. She got a bunch of stuff. It's all pretty cool. She let me check out all her stuff.
She got a store. Is that what it is?
It's a business right now. Everything's at their house. They ship it.
Well, yeah. I mean, a virtual store is still a store.
Yeah.
So you can give it a shout out if you want.
All right. Well, shit. I kind of got to remember the name of it. Bad dad.
Yeah,
Bad
that,
dad.
that would help. That would help.
Yeah.
Now that.
Don't tell her. She'll beat me. It's not pretty, man. No, that's not what I want. Ding, 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 ding. All right, here comes the shout out. Yeah. It's Allura Crystals, man. Check it out. They're on Etsy now. You can check them out through Instagram. I don't know what other social media they're on. But
You're gonna have to either spell it or write it in the chat. Actually, I think didn't I give you a didn't I give you a mod? Didn't I mod you? If I modded you, you can link it in the chat.
I don't think you did, and I don't think I would know how to do it if you did.
I'll have to look into that, but yeah, like if I didn't, then then I'm gonna have to. But that means that you're gonna have to go in to the regular chat so that I can mod you. Actually, message that, write that in the chat, and then I can look in the chat, and then I can mod you from the chat. And it might just be a quick thing. I haven't been modded in YouTube, so I don't really know how to do that, but I do know that they link stuff all the time, so you probably just cut and paste the web address or something. But yeah, that's kind of the whole point of this channel too, is to help everybody out. That's some art stuff too if she's building it by herself.
It's her and Josh's girlfriend Taylor.
Well, I mean, making the jewelry or whatever.
Yeah, jewelry, crystals. It's pretty cool. Yeah, you got to check it out.
Yeah.
Where was I?
Leave a link in there, or leave the name, the spelling, because you can't actually link in the comments until you're modded. But
all right, well, here it is, man.
I think I modded Dan, so
I sent the name to you in private chat.
No, put it in the regular one.
All right.
Because I have to be able to see your message in the YouTube channel.
All right.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I look over at the YouTube channel,
all right.
And nobody has made a comment.
Right.
And it's really weird because I hear an echo because it's like a 10-second delay.
Yeah.
And I hear that coming across the other video. Oh yeah, once you mention it in the comments, I can mod you because your comments there.
All right. Okay.
All right. So this is the second coat because that's so transparent. Can you see it, how thin it is right down here?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to mess with the transparency on all of it, just certain parts of it, because I'm gonna layer over it with the flare colors.
Okay. Hmm. All right, what am I doing wrong here?
I don't know. What are you doing?
I'm in the comments and I'm trying to leave the comments.
You don't. So, are you? Oh, no. Hold on. Open YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah. Open YouTube in another window, and then there's the comment section on this video.
all right.
Make a comment
Alright.
in this video, and then I can mod you. Because
All
I'm
right.
modding you on YouTube.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Do.
Now, this is semi-transparent. So when I go over... Oh, yeah, right. Can you see that a little better?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I go over the burnt sienna with it,
All
it's
right.
already a darker pass. Like, I'm going to still have to layer it in, but...
Right on.
Hey, if y'all are watching, leave a comment. Let us know you're here.
Please.
And what you think. And
Right.
what you'd like to see.
What you like to hear. But let's try to keep PG-13. Because there's a lot of things I would really like to see. But we'll not talk about that right now. Whoa. Full screen, dude. All right. So now I can't see chat. So
You didn't make a comment.
I know, man.
Just leave a comment. It doesn't matter what the comment is. Hi.
Yeah, I know, but see, the YouTube studio is what I have saved to my dashboard. It's not the channel.
Right, you can type in.
Creator Studio.
Okay, I'm gonna close this window then because it's really echoing and driving me nuts.
All right.
Like, we made some comments and then they keep coming back to me. I'm like,
Right.
you'll comment, I'll comment, and then you'll comment the original comment over the next comment, and like it's like talking in row or whatever.
Right. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Wow, it's kind of tough. I'm trying to include this in the video, but the more I push it this way, the closer it comes to knocking my light off.
Oh, that's not cool.
I've got a little light on this desk. I got a stand-up light over here on the floor. This one's on the desk. If that wasn't on the desk, it'd be a lot easier.
Right.
I'm talking about putting this up on the easel, but it's just I don't have a whole lot of room, and I'm trying to figure out how that would work. I can slide the camera over to the other side of my desk on the camera's mount arm. But I don't think I'd want to do 6 layers of this fine crap.
Yeah. Word. Bing, 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 bing.
Now, see, if I'd have started with a burnt sienna and just worked darker before I started doing the blue background and everything, I could just do some highlights or the fades on the cloaks and most of the figures.
Right.
But I didn't.
Well, you know. Man, I love that bike, dude. I've been all over on that thing. It's like, me.
Good.
Ran into a couple of people who got electric bikes around here, man. They were asking me about it. They're like,
did they get hurt?
They're like, whoa, that thing's beefy. I'm like, yeah, man. You got it decked out. They're like, mine goes 20 miles an hour. How fast is yours go? Mine go up to 32 miles an hour. What? Wow, that's cool. Then when they find out how much I paid for it, they're like, oh, man, because they're making payments on theirs. This one guy I was talking to had a cheaper made bike than mine, but he paid $2,700 for it. I was like, it's where them rent-to-own guys get you, man.
Yeah. They generally mark it up 100%, so you're paying twice as much over a period of time, and then the penalties and taxes.
I got to looking at his bike, and that bike that he has is it's $900 bike, dude. I even showed him online. I was like, sorry, dude, but yeah. Yeah, man, it decked out with all kinds of lights. I'm lit up like a Christmas tree in the dark. My headlight upgrade finally got here yesterday. Put that bitch on there. Pretty happy. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go back to the chisel for a little bit. Try not to spill water all over the place.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Well, like I said, once this stuff dries, it's vinyl, so
right.
It's not as detrimental as it could be.
Right on. Dog thinks she owns my bed.
What's that?
I said the dog thinks she owns my bed.
Dogs will do that. My cat does.
She's like this big.
Damn it! I said
but
mine. It's
right
not my freaking cat.
Yeah, you did say your cat.
Yeah, I know. Damn it.
Oh. It's happened to you. No take back.
This cat just drives me batty. Like, he was on, like, my folded blanket at the bottom of the bed. He's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I get up off the couch, he's there 2 minutes later. Not even 2 minutes later sometimes. He will literally come downstairs, come under the table in front of where I'm sitting, and nudge his way right under in my hands and stuff. I'm like,
It's
I'm
because
eating. I'm eating. I'll kill you.
You sound so tough.
What's that?
I say you sound so tough.
Well, maybe, maybe not. He
like
knows he knows that there's a limit because he'll look at me and he knows he's doing something that pisses me off, and then I'll give him a mean look and he'll look away, tuck his head.
Oh yeah, cats are smart.
Cats are
They're also half
@ $$ hole.
I said it for you. It's okay.
Yeah. It's funny because everybody else wants that cat. I'm the one that, no, I like cats.
The cat knows that.
Cats always, like, every cat I've had has died horrendously.
Mm.
And not for me.
I know.
So I'm like, no, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, the cats are like, I'm gonna make you love me, man. Animals are great. I love all animals.
Yeah, well, animals are like other people's kids.
Yeah.
I love all animals if I don't have to own them or hang out with them or whatever.
Take care of them.
But I can hang out with them when I want to, you know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
cats are the opposite of that too. Cats are like, nope, you can't pet me when you want to. You gotta pet me when I want to.
Yeah, pretty much. They act like they own everything.
Right?
And they'll look dead at you while they're knocking shit down. Just be like, oh.
Yeah, he doesn't do that, but what he does is he'll claw something like on the couch or some shit, and I just whip the shit out of the couch. Like, you know, those couches are more expensive to replace than you.
What? They're always giving away free kittens.
Right? I wanted a dog. Amanda don't like dogs.
What happened to Uhtred?
He died.
Ah.
Uhtred died due to 1,000 black widow bites.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the kids took him for a walk to a drugstore, and Kate was sitting with him on a bench, and he crawled under the bench to get out of the sun, heat, whatever, and it was just loaded with them. And he got bit and pulled her away from the bench. Like, he started, trying to get towards home.
Right.
So
like, it's dangerous over here. Let me get
and
you.
And then I think Kate was waiting outside with him, and Logan and Eli went into the store or whatever. And they were walking back home, and he started falling.
All right.
And we didn't find out till later. It was a miserable death. I watched him die on my kitchen floor, watched his tongue hang out, roll out. He couldn't get water, and he just died with his tongue stuck to my floor.
Damn.
And he was my Christmas present. and I really loved him.
Yeah.
Um,
That sucks. He was a cool dog, man. Mm. I did not know that. Holy shit.
what's that?
I said, I did not know that.
Yeah, actually, Kate. I did a tattoo on Kate with uh, like a spider-shaped window cut out of her arm, Black
Yeah.
Widow, that looked upon some blue mountains and stuff.
Hey,
And
your fans on chat.
and a part, part of her skin was left out of the spider, like where the Black Widow's mark would be.
Yeah.
And we have a silhouette of a dog,
Mm.
my dog, Uhtred,
Right.
because she wanted to do a memoriam piece on him. But Uhtred died pretty much saving her because the bench that she was sitting on was loaded with them.
Right.
And-
Yeah, that's what I said, dude.
And
Yeah,
he,
he was pulling her away from that.
yeah, and he took her away from that. So Uhtred died a hero.
Yeah, man.
That doesn't make me any less sad that my dog is dead. But
Right on. But,
that's, I haven't had many dogs throughout my life.
right.
All of them are ended up either at the pound or dead a hard way. Same thing with cats. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just better for me not to have pets.
Whatever.
I can pet other people's pets, and they live.
That's part of life, man.
And they live.
Ah. It's the quality of life, man, not the quantity.
Shit, Richard was less than a year old.
Yeah, but he knew he was loved, didn't he?
I hope so,
Well, yeah.
because that's all he would have had, really.
Well, that's all you need. You need a dog, someone to fill your bowl and rub your tummy. Man.
Play with, take for walks. And actually, I didn't really take him for as many walks as I should have. Kids did, Amanda did in the morning. I was writing a massive novel at the time
Right.
and tattooing.
Right. I'm gonna go take my cigarette break, man. I shall return.
Not gonna call Leah too.
It's too early for that. Well, actually, no. I think I will. Thanks, Rich. Thanks. All right, man. I'll be back.
All right. So, for anyone who's wondering, if anyone's wondering, I painted her in Burnt Umber without anything underneath, without any undercoating, because I want to have her a different tone. This Burnt Umber is going over the Burnt Sienna, so it has a slightly redder tone through it. That's a calculated decision. I want it dark, but not that dark. And then as it fades away, it'll get darker. Yeah.
I'm back. Yay! I think Aaliyah's busy. But that's all good.
Can see a little bit of depth in the cliff sides now.
Yeah, man.
That's well, actually this cliff side, but that's kind of what I was saying. This is a pain in the ass to spin.
Need to get you like a base of a lazy Susan and set it down underneath it. Just be like, woo.
Well, this is all about showing everybody else. If I wasn't worried about showing everybody else,
Right.
there'd be no issue at all. Come on, an hour goes by fast, huh?
Yeah, man. Time flies when you're having fun.
Or when you're at the very least occupied, right?
Well, yeah. I'm having fun.
Well, that's great. Somebody should.
Whee!
No, I enjoy painting. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. But
No kidding. Right. Yeah, man.
going a different round brush. I've got a lot of round brushes.
Right.
It's just the right one. So I need to pull in something where I can get a little bit more detailed. See, even though I'm still blocking, these brushes that I'm using, that I'm getting smaller with, they're going to lay down more of a fine coat than a detailed coat.
Right.
Not fine coat. That's really misleading. It's more of a tight coat, I guess, because I can get stuff, the small stuff on him. Like I wasn't too worried about it on her, but when I get into him and him, I want to have some more control.
Right. Control. No.
The layer process, it's so weird. Like using this dark of a medium, the undercoat here. Makes things harder to see a little bit.
All right.
I mean, it's there, but it doesn't look as solid as it would if I was just painting on white.
Right. I think my
or a light brown. What's that?
I think my kid might have just pulled up. I don't know. I'll know when the door opens. I was listening though, to what you were saying. As multi.
I was just saying that it's sometimes harder to see than when you're working over a lighter, thinner coat of the same, well, of all browns or whatever. It's a lot easier to see than trying to come in with all kinds of different thinner colors over darker values.
Right.
These are once I get them marked out. I mean, I don't know if you can even see that.
Yeah, I can see it.
In the sleeve,
Yep.
like right here.
Yeah, I see it.
It's not very dark, so I'll have to do another coat. And it's building it up. This is expensive paint. You're using a lot of paint.
Right on.
But it'll last. And I can manipulate this paint. I can mix in different values, different colors. It's really about how solid you want something. And what I'm doing right now, it's light enough that I can actually see the pattern lines drawn through it still.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much here where I did the thicker second coat, but they're intended to disappear eventually anyway.
Right.
And I'll push and pull and tweak and stuff as I go, but now, what I just did right here looks darker than it is because I can see the lines through it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when I do a second coat, I can avoid the ones that have those lines in there. I'm going to do different values over it because I want to do the firelight kind of getting in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Playing on the cloth.
Yeah.
So I can gradually darken what I want to have the darkest.
All right.
That's actually what the long and the short of it is that I'm trying to say is that this stuff doesn't it doesn't go on super solid, and I can mix it if I want to adjust it.
Uh-huh.
And I can layer it darker with consecutive passes.
All right.
So it's not going to come out so dark on the first pass that I can't see what I'm doing, or I'm not able to blend it or add or whatever. And I like the idea of being able to build up to that darkness.
Yeah.
Just the same way with the light, I'm building towards the light, but the light's easier because the more you put white in something, the more opaque it is, so it's less clear, the more solid it is.
Right. Okay.
Basically, there's three terms with colors that you have to remember. And one of them is actually black and white, but it's So value, which is how dark or light it is, the higher the value, the closer the white on the grayscale. Chroma, which is how saturated it is, or how thick it is,
All right.
how bright a color is, and or dull. I mean, you like we're talking about knocking stuff back and adding neutrals and stuff like that. That's kind of dulling the chroma a little bit. And hue is the actual color you're using. So I'm using burnt umber. That's the hue. Right now it's at a thinner chroma, but another layer will darken it, and it can get really dark, burnt umber, let alone having a darker Payne's gray background.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just sent you the name. I opened it up on my phone and I sent it to you. So. The name of this company.
On your phone?
Yeah, I sent it from my phone.
To YouTube?
Yeah. Yep, it's up on chat now.
Let me go to YouTube. Then I can mod you if I see it.
It should be right up there. I see it on my screen.
Yeah, but I have to come up with this right now because
okay.
It doesn't go directly to the video.
Oh, all right. All right, man.
Wow. I don't have the current. That's weird. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Okay.
Like. Bang! Now you're a moderator.
Woo-hoo!
You'll have to look at the 3 dots next to the name to see what you can do from there.
Okay. Next to my name?
Yeah, I have no idea how that works, so you're gonna have to figure it out.
Right on.
I think because you're a moderator, you can just do a cut and paste link.
Groovy.
Give it a shot. Go to her Etsy site or whatever, and this is why I like rounds, because I can get into little spaces, or I can cover a swath with the side of them.
Right on.
And I can do a finer detail with the tip, or I can press down a little bit and get some width from it. One thing that it took me a long time to learn, is that you don't have to have the paint smooth. It can have little dents and knobs and dots and whatever that are risen in them. You can have ridges, or it just depends on what you're doing. I go to art museums and look at classical painters, and it's really amazing how much you can actually see of what they used and how they used it. Like one of the painters I was looking at, man, has got a picture of me staring at a painting, and in that painting, all the later tones, the highlights and stuff, were
Mm-hmm.
done with like very thin lines. It looked like almost balls of yarn that went across this way and then went across this way to build
Right.
it up, but it was very, very thin, later hued lines. I thought it was really cool, but it was amazing that if you look at a reproduction of that painting, that's
Mm-hmm.
not what you see. You see I guess the overall. You don't see the little details of it like that. But part of that is because the painting is 8 foot, or it's pretty huge.
Yeah.
And if you're seeing a reproduction, it's downsized.
Okay.
Like when you look at, you probably don't look up artists, but like if you look at NC Wyeth's stuff, a lot of his stuff is the painting is the size of a wall, and it's like this big in the corner box, of a magazine or something. But in reality, it's like a 4 foot by 4 foot painting, or it's a 10 foot by 8 foot painting, or something like that, which is it's really cool. But it doesn't look as refined when you see something that big up close.
Right.
You have to look at all the stuff that they layered in.
Right.
And
Right.
It really is quite amazing, and it just really amazes me, astounds me. Like, I wish I'd have known that stuff back when I was learning art history and shit in school. If they'd actually taught me a little bit about the actual painting process and not, telling me who did what and what the time period was and what the pigments were mixed out of before I knew what they were doing with them.
Right.
I don't know, it might have changed a lot. I don't think the education that I got really included enough. So
Right.
what I learned by talking to other painters, other artists that are more experienced or have been classically trained and can break down what I'm having trouble with to make it easier.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of them are very gracious with their time and advice. So that's another reason that will fuel me in doing what I'm doing now. I know so many people that are troubled and don't understand how layers work or how long something's going to take. They're really impatient that they can just draw it and paint it in a day or whatever. And I suppose you could, but you have to know exactly what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Rosetta did these really cool color sketches with water paints, watercolor sketches. So when he approached an oil, he knew exactly what colors were going to go where, and then he toyed around with the little stuff, the subtle stuff. So he did the lion's share of the work in the pre-planning mode. And the kids today that I know, they're so impatient, they don't even want to do pre-drawing sketch, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Like, they don't even want to do what I did before I started doing these drawings, Like, this
Right.
is the under drawing that I think a lot of these guys just want to hop on and just go, and it's not.
Yeah.
You could, like, if you know your way around paints and know what you're capable of, you could push and pull and whatever. but it'd be a lot harder if you don't know where you're going.
True.
Even that guy that I linked to you that does pastels, he does paintings in 2 hours, and it'll be acrylic or oils or whatever, but it's alla prima, and he's doing a portrait, so it's doing a face about this size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in 2 hours, but he doesn't need to draw it because he's painting it all going to be finished within 2 hours. And he has a photograph that he knows what it's going to look like when it's done. What I'm doing is kind of creating as I'm going, so I can't do that.
True.
This actually, I should have warned you, might be a little bit longer of a stream than normal, because my intention is to get all of this brown done as I can.
Right.
And that's in everything but the moon, the fire, and the sky. So, like, we got a layer done on her, and actually I should just leave this because we got a layer done on him and then come back to him. I've got to do some stuff in Cthulhu yet. This is too wet, and I'm still gonna keep playing with it and screwing with it. So that's the other good thing about doing blocking like this, is that it's not the finished product. You know it's not the finished product. You're just getting the basic darks and the basic shapes out.
Right.
Like, I'm really happy you can see much more of, oh yeah, never mind. I was gonna say you can see much more of him, but like, either I shadow him and you can't. Like,
I can see.
The cliffs are a lot more defined, and they're not going to be overly defined. I just want enough to let you know that there's rocks and there's texture there.
Right.
But that's the underpainting. I can see the shape. I know, not underpainting. Blocking. Not everyone does an underpainting.
Yeah.
And some people do very detailed underpaintings.
Right.
And then some people do what's called a grisaille. A grisaille is a black and white underpainting that basically does the entire painting in such good value it looks like a black and white photo.
Yeah. All right.
And then you paint over it with color. The purpose is so you know where all the values are.
Yeah, you know your darks and lights. Right?
Yep. I got brown on me now, so I don't know if I got brown on my face now. Got brown on my finger.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's from turning the painting, but
More likely. I hope it's not from poking through the toilet paper. That would be wrong.
Well, you know, I would not do that on air.
Well, they can only see your hand.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. You know, I wouldn't. That's not something I would do on air.
Now I see part of your head.
Yeah, you have to, because I have to see what I'm doing.
Right on.
The question is, can you see what I'm doing?
Yes.
It's very little. Like, I can't zoom in while this camera's running here.
Right on. No, I see what you're doing.
So I'm doing some darks in the hand because the firelight's going to be coming upwards.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to do at this point, is get the definite darks that I want in. Some of this stuff I've decided earlier on is going to have to change. Because of the light scheme. And because of the distance of him. That's a sacrifice that you have to decide to make, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because I really want to paint the whole dude, but on the other hand, that would be focusing on the wrong thing.
Right.
So yeah, painting this edge of him, my brush, that's hitting the camera arm. So it's that close.
Dang.
Man, just like that would drive me nuts. Well, it kind of drives me nuts, but before I had the particular boom arm that I'm using, I tried a different one that was a bendable arm, so I could just, bend at all kinds of angles. But it was only a little over a foot long. So I would be like right here.
Right on.
Trying to paint around it, look around it, and everything else. So
does not sound very simple.
no, I did my Copic marker stream when I did the Cyber Frog.
Okay.
With that camera, and I had to, because I didn't understand that you couldn't just turn the image of the camera upside down with the program.
Right on.
And it was facing me because I had been talking into the camera before. So when I did Cyber Frog, I figured I could just turn the camera down. And I tried that, and it was upside down. And I'm like, what? So I had to turn the camera from facing this way back this way and bend it over. So it was literally like this high off the canvas and at an angle. So when you look at that video, that was a difficult video to put together. Well, to film anyway.
Right on.
So I wanted to make sure everyone... It's really hard too when you're painting or you're drawing or doing whatever you're doing and you can't see because you got to see what you're doing. What the other people can see. Like when you say, "Oh, your head's in the way," yeah, like because I knew my head would be in the picture a little bit because I'm leaning forward to look at this stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it's not in the way.
I've tried to make myself as unintrusive to the stream as I can, because I'm trying to show what I'm doing and not who I am.
Right.
Because who I am is what I'm doing, I guess. But to me, it's not important at all to show my face. It's important to show the process because that's what people are watching for. That's what they want to see. I haven't cheated at all. The only thing I did off camera was just tighten up some lines. But all the other stuff was already done on camera. The lines that I tightened up. I think I added 3 lines. I added this hand and 1 line or something in Cthulhu that I missed. One of the things that sucks about doing this late is that you can't see what it looks like in the sunlight, you know?
Right. Yeah.
See, I've also figured out that I'm kind of saved from worried about the bottom of this cloak because the mountain's casting, well, the precipice is casting a shadow on it.
Yep. Yeah.
And this is where it's pretty critical to figure out where I want the shadows to be cast. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it has to have the availability of getting the moonlight REM light source. You notice that what I did to create this line wasn't tapering it at the end, it was tapering it at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you can do that, it's best.
All right.
Because then you can press down as you pull away from that line, the tip. And you can have a fine tip, and as you're pulling away, you can get wider like that. And it's a lot less work.
Right. Cool. Good enough.
Hopefully I've got a few of those in me.
Well, you should. You've been doing it long enough. Yeah.
Right.
Drawing in Styles in Ocala. You did this for me, man.
What's that?
Girl in Ocala named Styles did this for me. She painted me 4 different paintings. She got Doraya, she got Kakashi, she got Ichigo, she got Stain from My Hero Academia. Really talented, man. She's really good. Here's one of the other ones.
Well, you gotta warn me.
Oh, I did. Yeah, here's the other one of the other ones. All that she did on the glass itself.
That's really cool.
Yeah, man. She's very talented, man.
So,
or should I say they are very talented. Let me correct myself.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Nope. Anime.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Very good artist.
I'm gonna get a copy of Wolverine one of these days. I thought I had access to Funimation, but it's all weird. I could get it, but I couldn't put it on my Roku, and I'm like, what the fuck is the use of having it?
Right. That kind of blows.
I mean, like, I have it on my Roku. I have the
app
channel on my Roku. Yeah, app channel.
Right.
But it wouldn't accept the password on my Roku, that it did on my laptop. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to pay for that shit.
Nah, that's crap.
So, I don't have it. But yeah, that's an anime that I watched. Actually down there. In a hotel room, I'm pretty sure.
Ooh.
And I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
The werewolf, the the whole, it's like Trigun type city.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, actually, it's a bigger city because it's like levels and levels of city, but that's not new for anime.
Right.
It's a pretty emotional story too, which usually I don't find anime does very well for me. They don't get me emotional.
Well, it depends on what you watch.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and it depends on who you are too, because it doesn't do it for me, but I'm sure it does for more people. It doesn't matter necessarily whether anime does that trick for me, except for to say that particular anime got me in the feels.
Right.
My neighbor Totoro that did too. So
yeah. Have you seen Berserk?
I watched a little bit of it. After a while, it just kind of, I don't know.
Oh, it's really good, man.
I've seen some of it. Just some of it's okay, some of it's just meh. That's like Attack on Titan. I watched all of Attack on Titan, but it's cool. It's cool ideas for a lot of it. But then some of it's like there's so much. I don't know. I guess it just ended too soon because there's so much unanswered.
Right. See, the first season of Attack on Titan, I dug that shit, man. That shit was pretty cool. Second season, not so much.
See, I liked it. I liked where it was headed. I was curious to see if all the Titans were people that are living in the city or whatever, if they're attacking it, or why that's the way it is, you know?
Right, yeah.
And that's the, what's that?
They never really answered that.
Well, I don't know. I haven't read the manga.
All right, neither.
And this is all based on the manga, so.
Right.
But it makes me want to read the manga, which. That's not that often I can say that anymore.
Right.
You know.
Oh, I got one you need to check out, dude. Chainsaw Man.
No, I'm not interested.
Oh,
I've seen a lot of it, and just the art it doesn't do it for me. And a lot of people are into it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I get that people are. And it's just not my thing.
Right on.
Anime's like that for me. Like some things they're dead on. They know what I like, you know, or I find some. I love Trigun. I love Cowboy Bebop. You know what I mean?
Right on. Yeah.
But I have to be able to relate, and I don't.
Ninja Scroll.
I don't think I can relate to Chainsaw Man.
Mm-hmm. You seen Ninja Scroll, right?
Oh yeah, I have Ninja Scroll.
Yeah. Vampire Hunter D.
Oh yeah, I watched that with you.
Yeah, I know. You seen the second one?
Yeah, I didn't like it as much.
Oh, I did. It looks pretty brutal.
Well, see here, it's not brutality. It's the storyline, the plot, and all that. And the thing about the first Vampire Hunter D was. There's stuff you didn't know until the end.
Right.
You know what I mean? Once you have that stuff established, you don't have a learning curve anymore. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
All right.
There's nothing in the second one that made me go, oh wow, that I didn't think about that. You know what I mean?
Well,
First
I
one was
like
like,
the fact that the vampire was actually in love with the girl. You know what I'm saying? It was a real love. It wasn't, it wasn't, oh, he was just going to kidnap her and blah, 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 like most of the vampire stories go, you know. Maybe it's just me.
I don't know. I'm sure that it's not, but so you got to understand too. There's a lot of movies that I think didn't need sequels.
Right.
Highlander didn't need a sequel. Didn't need a show. Didn't need a sequel. It was fine the way it was.
Right. But what they made? What, 4?
Yeah. Well, the second Highlander was about after he had the gift, and who cares?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like in the future, and after that, like, tell me the plot.
It's just beating a dead horse, pretty much.
Right. Nobody remembers what it's about because nobody cares.
It was just for money.
I don't think it was for money. I think they wanted to explore the character, but I just don't think they did a very good job of it.
All right.
For instance, the original Highlander, the bad guy, Clancy Brown, is the same guy that plays Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
He didn't get paid.
I didn't know that.
No, he did it for the love of it. The guy who wrote the script for Highlander was in college. It was an assignment.
All right. That's good.
So the budget pretty much went on Sean Connery.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know.
Yes. Let me show you my sword.
Which he should have never been that guy, because like Connor McLeod is a Scotsman.
Right.
And the guy that's a Scotsman in the movie plays an Egyptian.
Okay. I thought it was be a Spaniard.
He called him a Spanish peacock because his name was Ramirez. But, but Ramirez said he was Egyptian. Or
okay. All right.
It's a little bit convoluted, but he's neither one.
I know, right?
You know? And Sean Connery, no matter what movie he's playing, he doesn't do accents. He does Sean Connery.
You always expect him. Yes, money. Miss Money Penny.
So yeah, I mean, I found like them doing the sequel just didn't work for me, and that sucks because I actually like Michael Ironside.
Right on.
Who was in the sequel? He was in Scanners and a lot of stuff.
Right on.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that just didn't need sequels. They just didn't need them. I like National Treasure, the original National Treasure, and I like the second one. That was all right, but it didn't need it. I could have done fine without it. Now they're gonna come back to it. Here's one that's people are gonna be pissed off about. Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark would have been fine, just left Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
The second one was not great.
No, it wasn't.
The story wasn't great. Nothing was really great about it. The third one was all right with Sean Connery, so, if that would have been the second one, that would have been fine, to me. But everything else, garbage. Star Wars, after the first 3, what are you doing?
Right.
I mean, like, I'm not even trying to talk about the culture behind it. I'm just talking about the actual movies, the actual plots. Lucas did the prequels and they sucked.
Right on.
I know that Lucas loved the whole race cars and that's what he wanted to put in you know, but he did that in American Graffiti.
Yep.
And really, if he wanted to do race cars, he should have just done a racing movie. Yeah, Star Wars is his universe. He can do what he wants.
Right on.
Like that's always a qualifier. But he messed up his own mythology. He had to re-release the first three because he changed things about the mythology.
Yeah.
For instance, if you watch the remakes of the first three, Ben Kenobi does not say, "Your father was an accomplished pilot when I met him."
Right.
But he did say that in the first one.
Yes.
And that's what I was expecting to see. Who knew?
And then at the end of what was it, Return of the Jedi, when they all showed up and Anakin was there,
Oh yeah, they changed it to...
they totally took dude out of it and put in that kid. It was
yeah,
like
Hayden Christensen. Well,
what?
that's the mythology. Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the mythology. That poor guy. He had his career ruined over that.
I know.
What?
They totally removed him from it.
Well, one thing that really sucked about the prequels, was the second movie where it was supposed to be the romance, whatever.
Yeah.
They had this romantic scene with them on, I don't even know what the hell it was. It was on something, a field or some shit, on
Yeah.
Coruscant. And whatever he says, his love thingy,
Mm.
Sobret, whatever the hell it is.
It was truly memorable. I can feel it.
Well, no. What the thing is that he said it twice. They have
Right.
two exact same scenes. They didn't need it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the third one, who believes that her sneaking aboard the ship made him want to kill her? She's pregnant with his kid. He loves her and all that. That's the reason that he parted ways from the Jedis, right?
Right.
And then he's going to strangle her because she snuck aboard the ship with Obi-Wan to come see him.
Yeah.
The motivation just is not believable. Wasn't believable for me.
Right.
And that's hard because I really wanted to love him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind Jar Jar Binks. A lot of people did. I did not. I understood. First of all, like, Lucas didn't tell that dude to do that voice.
Okay.
That's the actor's creation.
All
He
right.
chose to do that kind of Jamaican accent type of thing. That was the actor's choice all the way.
Did not know that.
Yep, a lot of people don't. They just assume that it was him. Jar Jar Binks was created to be like in old black and white movies. They had a lot, like they had. I think they called it maid syndrome or something like that, where there was a black maid or a black butler that was the comedy relief.
Yeah.
And that Jar Jar was supposed to be comedy relief. Something to kind of replace C-3PO and R2-D2, where they're kicking each other around and telling each other off when you can't hear what they're saying.
Right.
So he was supposed to replace that. And I think that was like the major fail.
Yeah.
But like they didn't consider that the actor could create his own voice, own whatever. Remember Enemy Mine?
Yeah.
And it was Lou Gossett Jr. and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
And Lou Gossett Jr. played the alien.
Right.
And he spoke with like a garbled voice. Yeah. Yeah. That was a Lou Gossett Jr. creation. A lot of the directors let the actors do that.
Right.
You come up with your own, you know. But people don't consider that. It just has to be. It has to be the director, you know.
Right.
And I disagree with a lot of what George Lucas did. That's not something that I do, though, because I know what he tried. It just didn't work out.
Right.
And a lot of things in the prequels didn't work out. Jar Jar Binks actually wasn't the biggest, you know. That whole race thing. I know a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
That hated that race.
Yep.
And I can't say I didn't you know, that I liked it, because I didn't.
Right.
Now, I could tolerate it. Problem was, it took up half the movie, and
Right.
it put a 6-year-old kid in a place where we expected somebody to be a grown fighter pilot.
Right. Right.
And
it kind of brought me back to the Hanna-Barbera Laugh Olympics kind of.
yeah, right.
You know, where you had Snidely Whiplash and Muttley over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just as long and drawn out too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a big mistake. That the movie really didn't recover. Movies didn't really recover from, because everybody that went to see that, well, most of the people that went to see that already had an expectation.
Right.
That had been built up from the first three.
Oh yeah.
For 30 years or something, you know.
And they were all hyped up about it, and then they got that.
Right, and they did not get what they thought they were going to get. They didn't get what they were promised. And that's usually what leads to big disappointments.
Mm-hmm.
When people are expecting something because you promised something, and they don't get it. That whole bait and switch thing.
Yep.
Which happens a lot with like books and stuff, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of books fail, is because that whole bait and switch. Everybody's expecting it to be one kind of a story, and then they're like, "Oh, haha, I fooled you," or the person telling the story knows the end already, but pretends that they don't know who did it or whatever. Right. No, we already know you know who did it because you survived.
True.
So you have to know who did it, you know. All right. Yeah, I guess he shows up a lot more now.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something about something else that was related, and it totally escaped me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that.
It's like the whole Avatar movie.
Which Avatar movie?
The one with the blue people.
So James Cameron's.
Yeah. Now the first one was really good.
I haven't seen the second one yet.
The second one, I'm just gonna say it's a good thing I didn't pay to watch it.
Well, let me tell you this.
All
The
right.
first one was stolen from a sci-fi book
Oh, I'm sure.
called Call Me Joe.
No, call me Joe.
Yeah, the book is called Call Me Joe.
All
It's
right.
by Paul Anderson, who's a famous sci-fi writer.
All right.
If
Yeah,
you
I used to have him as a friend. You
if
hooked
you
me up.
look, no, not that's Kevin J. Anderson.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Paul Anderson is Poul.
Okay. Yeah.
If you look up Call Me Joe by Paul Anderson and see the cover,
Mm-hmm.
it's a cat person.
All right.
Except for it's more like a centaur where the cat's body's got 4 legs and then there's kind of a humanesque upper body.
Okay. All right.
But it's still very cat-like. It's a person who's crippled who goes to a different world and uses an avatar, uses a different form. The whole story is his story, really. But James Cameron changed the names and all that. James Cameron is known for stealing other people's stories.
Mm.
He stole Terminator.
Damn.
Terminator was Harlan Ellison. That's why he sued the fuck out of James Cameron, and now you can't buy a new copy of Terminator without seeing a dedication to Harlan Ellison in the beginning. Because he sued the shit out of him, because in an interview, James Cameron said that it was taken from 2 stories, Demon with a Glass Hand and Soldier. And both of them are Harlan Ellison stories that he wrote for Outer Limits. I think it Outer Limits and Star Trek or something like that.
All right.
But yeah, so James Cameron literally stole those stories at the get-go.
And made millions.
Yeah, well, Harlan Ellison is known for suing people. So he sued the shit out of James Cameron.
Good.
And his name's on it. So Paul Anderson can't sue because he's dead. You know?
Right. Yeah.
But it's unfortunate that he just didn't credit him. And I do not understand that at all, that whole mentality of take something that you know that that somebody else did.
Yeah.
You're gonna use it, make money off of it, and not just give credit to him, you know? It wouldn't hurt, and as a matter of fact, for a very small fee, he would have avoided the lawsuit, been able to put Harlan Ellison's name on it, been able to sell it to that community that much more. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When Avatar came out, half the people I know that went to see it were pissed off because they thought it was going to be The Last Airbender.
Right.
And then it wasn't The Last Airbender, you know, or they're like, how's that going to, how these cat people going to be involved with The Last Airbender or whatever.
Right on. But then The Last Airbender.
And then the other half are like, he stole, and then they notice similarities between the plot of that and Pocahontas and whatever. But Disney's Pocahontas still followed Paul Anderson's book.
Right.
Call Me Joe was written in the 50s, I think. Yeah, it's very interesting to see how that all went, But it's just a shame that he just didn't credit him.
Right. Hey, I'm going to try to call this kid again real quick. It won't be long at all. I won't even leave to death. So, Go ahead and finish what you were saying. I'm sorry.
No biggie. I should be focusing on what I'm doing anyway.
All
I'm
right.
doing the second coat, and it's dark. It's a darker coat.
All
I
right.
should be breaking into Cthulhu, but I'm marking out these figures with the darks. So
All right. I'll be right back, man. I just want to catch her before she
yeah,
goes.
yeah. See you in a few.
All right.
If James Cameron is watching me and he's going to sue me, well, thanks for watching me, and you're not going to get much. I don't have much.
I'm back. I am here. Yeah, man.
You get hold of her?
Yep. Yeah, she's doing good. She said hi.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Ain't they supposed to be coming out with another Spawn movie?
McFarlane said he's been writing on it and it's gonna be the best and blah blah blah.
I hope so. I didn't really like the first one, man.
He's got Jamie Foxx signed on board, but he doesn't have a studio that's backing him.
Right on.
He used to do updates on Twitter, so I don't know what's going on with it. I'm reluctant to make any quotes, except for the last thing I saw was that he had Jamie Foxx on board to play Spawn.
Who?
Jamie Foxx?
I say cool?
Oh, they said who? I was like, what do you mean?
No. Jamie Foxx is a good actor, man.
Well, I think so too.
I think he'll do the job. I think he'll do it justice.
I think that they have to have a job before he can do it justice.
Well, yeah. Well,
and I think we're making big assumptions based on what Todd McFarlane wants.
All right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's kind of a force unto himself. I've heard some stories, watching some of the Comicsgate stuff. I've heard Dale Keown's story of going out to meet him at his house. It's interesting. But yeah, he's definitely a force. It's like a lot of where he is because of his own willpower and not backing down.
Right.
So I'm not going to discount him, but he's been saying that there's going to be a better Spawn, new Spawn since the other Spawn. And yeah, I'm not trying to make fun of him or whatever, but
no.
He did that HBO version, the anime version. He said he was going to do that. He did that. It's very possible that we could be seeing that.
You're right.
But it's going to be very difficult if none of the major studios are on board.
Right.
Now, it would be cool. I think Jamie Foxx would do a great job. I don't think Michael Jai White did a bad job.
No.
I think he was new to acting. And he's much more of a martial artist than Spawn is.
Right.
Like, Spawn was an assassin or whatever, but he never, in the comics, he wasn't really about martial arts.
No, it was mostly guns and big battlefields.
Big guns, knives, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And now there's so many different Spawns, it could not even be Al Simmons, you know?
See that?
That's another thing about that. Like, I get so tired of that crap. Like, I don't care after a while. It's the same. Like, I stopped collecting and reading Spawn a long time ago because it was just nothing new.
Well, I mean, there is. I mean, the Hell Spawn is a race. It's always been different people throughout history. So,
Yeah, I understood that from the first couple, like 40 comics or whatever.
Right on.
Like he didn't. I don't know. Like same thing with the darkness. I used to love the darkness, but it just became the same kind of melodrama. And I'm also finding, I don't know if you've noticed it, but most of Image's heroes are actually bad people.
Yeah.
Jackie Estacado was a mob, fucking Witchblade, it's a witch.
Right on.
Spawn is an assassin working for Satan.
You're right.
Like the angels are bad guys.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know. That's just not for me after a while. Another thing that's not for me, and a lot of people are going to boo-hoo it, is zombies. I've had enough of fucking zombies. How many zombie stories can you fucking tell? They're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of people staggering around that will bite you if you let them.
Don't get bit. Don't get scratched. Oh, you're a zombie.
Some of them are faster. Some of them are slower. The only true original zombie anything that I saw in the last 10 years is a Korean-made show called Kingdom that they have it on Netflix.
Yeah.
But it explains the zombie outbreak in a way that's original. It starts from the Emperor down.
All right.
The zombies sleep during the day. They like hide out away from the sun or whatever. But when they come out, they're fucking fast.
Right.
So it's impressive. So it's also zombies versus samurai. So it's a whole different element.
Right.
I guess it's kind of like an anime come to life a little bit, but it feels much more realistic in the drama.
Okay.
It's like a prince that survived assassination is becoming a hero to these people that are besieged by these zombies. And a lot of the zombies are created because they were starving and they ate their dead, and the dead were infected with the zombie thing. So that created zombies. It was a whole different take on it, like it really was. And
All right.
that impressed me. But again, I can only watch so much of it, and then I don't care. Like, I mean, really, if they're making the same mistakes in the second season,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
They're not gonna learn, or they're gonna be saved by bad writing. So, like, I just don't care. And like you were talking about vampires with Vampire Hunter D or whatever, it's like,
Yeah.
so I've seen and read enough vampire fiction for a lifetime too.
Oh, I know.
Like,
yeah, it was a while there when they were just spoon feeding it down your throat, man.
Well, yeah, and it's like, I don't know. Like, they have to do something really original. I wrote a vampire story where the vampires were like lampreys. That was different.
Right on.
Like, their faces opened up and they were like this giant leech with seven circular rows of teeth going back, That was different.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, they're still ultimately vampires. I mean, these vampires weren't getting killed by crosses and holy water, but there's just not much that I can see happening with vampires. It's exciting. Blade was alright
Yeah.
because it was a natural born vampire. And he was fighting vampires.
Right.
The whole Land of the Midnight Suns was interesting in that way. Like they were, and again, they were bad guys, demons, vampires.
Joe B says Kingdom was awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. But the second season didn't pick up as fast for me as the first one.
Uh-huh.
Like, and that's another thing. Those it doesn't have to be a sequel things, where that first season it almost ended with a conclusion, you know.
Right on.
So I don't want to spoil it because if you haven't seen it, you'll love it.
No, I want to check it out, definitely.
Yeah, there's 2 series on Netflix called Kingdom. You want to watch the Korean one
Okay.
because the other one is not the same at all.
It ain't subtitled, is it?
What's that?
Is it subtitled?
It might be subtitled, but it also has a selection.
Oh, all right.
I watched it with the English, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Nowadays, they're actually taking away that option for cultural appropriation purposes.
It draws it away from me. If I gotta read what I'm watching, my eyes don't work that way, you know.
That movie that I was telling you that I want to watch, the new Donnie Yen one.
Oh,
I have to read it. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it.
Right on. Joe B said, I think it's English dub. Cool, man. I appreciate it. I'll check that out.
Yeah, I think you got a choice. On Netflix, a lot of times you do, but that's what I'm saying. They're walking that back a little bit.
Right on.
Which is actually why I was mentioning it. Let's see.
Yeah.
Sakura. That's the movie that I was talking about.
All right.
That's the new Donnie Yen movie.
All right.
It's got like it's like the whole Japanese gods and monsters thing too.
Okay.
So there's a lot of mythology in there, but
very groovy.
Just the fact that it's a wuxia, I really like that about that culture. Period. I like wuxia stories. I've just recently actually begun buying a translation of older wuxia stories.
Cool.
Haven't been reading them because I've been trying to read through all the bonds.
Right.
So, in the book, the Bond book I'm reading, which is From Russia with Love, he actually validates some of the bitching. Bond's talking to this guy in one of his departments, and he's put on this council that he doesn't want to be on.
Right.
And he's like saying that should be, the council should be the intellectuals, right? And the guy he's talking to, he's like a strictly by the book guy or whatever. He's all like, why would you want to hand it off to homosexuals? Like, intellectuals and homosexuals are the same thing or something.
Yeah.
And then he's like, we're not going to let the pansies make a decision.
Because you got to be smart to beat the beat.
There you go. The whole thing about the whole James Bond thing. And
right.
then he flies out to Turkey, where he didn't even get into the story for 77 pages out of 206 pages.
Wow. That's
Um,
crazy.
but when he does get out, he goes to this section chief, and the section chief's like a big Turk, and like half Turkish, half English or something, and uh, he's all talking about coffee and how he used to train to be a strong man, and he goes into this big history of things because his dad had several wives, and then he's basically like, all women just want to be thrown over your shoulder, carried to a cave, and raped. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
right? What the hell?
Well, and it's not Bond saying that; it's this section chief saying that. But it just struck me so odd. I
Yeah,
laughed, and I there's a Shakespeare story that's a comedy called The Taming of the Shrew.
yeah, yeah.
And in The Taming of the Shrew, uh, his father wants to marry his younger daughter off, and he can't do it until he marries his older daughter off.
Yeah,
It's a tradition thing or a social, it's the way that the socially accepted in those
yeah.
times. And if you remember the story, if you don't remember the story, then I'm refreshing you. Uh, so basically, he takes this girl, and she's called a shrew because she's rude and insulting and whatever. And this guy takes her home, and takes her way away from her family, and then basically takes everything away from her, all of her privileges away from her, and only grants them as she starts to come around to what he wants to do. Well, this guy in the Bond story is talking about doing that with one of his wives or girlfriends or whatever, where he took her home, stripped her, and then chained her underneath of his table and fed her scraps.
Mm.
And then his mom came and got upset and said, "You have to send her back to her people." It was like he claimed it was a gypsy that he won or something like that.
Wow.
And his mom said, "Well, you got to return her." And his mom brought her clothes and all this other stuff. And she got upset with the mom because she had been basically, I guess, Stockhouse syndrome, Stockholm syndrome,
Yeah.
Stockholm, home, not home, home. That was a complete mess up all the
Great.
way around.
Just go with it. It's all right.
Yeah, so I found it amusing that it took 5 books for Ian Fleming to really do anything anti-PC, actually do anything anti-PC.
Right.
And it wasn't Bond being the womanizer, and it wasn't Bond being the homosexual hater.
Right on.
It was other characters in the story, and the story was written in 1956 or something like that. So
Right. True.
that's not really uncommon thinking for that time period.
Nope. Yeah.
Joe's the only person that shows up to actually talk for a little bit, and
Yeah, man.
then he
Appreciate it.
stopped.
Yeah, you know. Maybe he's just listening. Yeah.
I think he's in Florida too.
All right.
He'd have to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to baiting him into talking. Doesn't seem like it's working.
Yeah.
As I'm turning this, can you see it better? And I know you can see her, Clara, now.
Yeah, I
You
see
couldn't see.
you.
You couldn't
You
really
over
see her at
here.
all at the beginning. Yep. So is
Right.
Joe. He's in Zephyr Hills.
Hey, Tampa Bay area. Woo.
Joe and Joe.
Yeah. Kid, you need to go see Mudvayne. I'll be there, man.
I think it's time to go back to the chip brush for a little bit. I squirted a lot of paint on this plate. And a lot of it's gone.
Yeah, man. Well, to be honest, to be fair, you did cover a lot.
Yeah. And I covered some that was already covered.
Right.
I gotta take this round brush out before it gets destroyed. So
Right.
expensive brushes like that, you gotta be careful because the ferro, this is the ferro.
Yeah.
Will lose its hold on the actual fur or
The horsehair.
brushes. Whatever the brush is made out of, if
Yeah,
it gets soaked for too long.
Right.
I really like that brush. It's an expensive brush, but now I want to get more. I guess I'm going to have to get more paintings. Somebody has to pay me to do more.
Right, there you go. Gotta paint a bunch of them and like have one show that's nothing but an auction. Auction
Well,
up.
they do that on the Comicsgate channels.
Hey, why not?
I have a Cyber Frog if anybody wants to buy it.
Right. I want to check that out. I don't think I've seen it.
What's that?
I don't think I've seen it.
The Cyber Frog?
Yeah. I saw your Night Frog.
Yeah, no, Cyber Frog is Ethan Van Sciver's character.
Oh, right.
So he's basically a mix of Spider-Man and Ninja Turtles and Terminator, I guess.
Hey, that's a hell of a mix right there.
Well, it's an alien that came down to help us from an invasion.
Right on.
And the alien ship that carried the technology that was supposed to be implanted on one of us to help couldn't find anybody because they crash landed or whatever. I don't want to give too much of it away, but in essence, she found a frog and a salamander.
Oh, wow.
So Cyber Frog is the frog, and then his brother Salamandroid, which is huge, like bigger than the Hulk.
Oh, yeah. That's groovy.
Maybe I was premature with coming to this brush.
I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear you. What did you
I said maybe I was premature coming to this brush.
Don't you hate
able to do a lot with this particular brush, but I'm able to do a lot with a small round too.
Right, man.
Actually, I can do more details with a small round, but I can do better square edges and sharper edges.
Right,
with
right.
This chip brush or a flat. I do have a flat that I haven't used. So mainly I wanted to get this to this brush so that I could get to putting some of the dimension in the chest and stuff. Yeah. So I'm gonna switch to another one. Fortunately, I have a lot of brushes. Unfortunately, not enough.
Never is.
Yeah, it's one of those catch-22s though. Like, I only use a certain amount of brushes on a painting. I probably use maybe 4 or 5 brushes on a painting normally.
Right.
But like I said, this is actually also a bigger painting than I normally would be doing. Like the other ones could fit inside of this one.
Yeah, you showed me that last week. Right? Or should I say showed us that last week?
I don't know if I showed everybody or just you after.
Oh. If you didn't see it, he's not lying.
The first Cthulhu painting that I did for this client, Cthulhu I, could fit into this painting 2.5 times, and then if I trimmed it up, I could probably fit another. Probably could fit it 3 times, and if I cut edges off and whatever. Am I heading away again?
No. I can only see the outside of your glasses.
Well, I guess then it's a good thing that I can see more.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm going to jump to the facilities. I'll be back.
You doing much painting lately, Joe, or is it still mostly digital? Should maybe call you Joe B. It's kind of difficult when there's more than one Joe. Reference. I gotta be much more clever about my reference. That's it. Yeah, there's less mess. This isn't so bad. I mean, this is washes right up with soap and water afterwards. I get a pleasure out of actually applying it with a brush. It gets just as frustrating as it's pleasing at first, but at the end, you know you went through all that to get where you're going. Clutter, yeah. Yeah, there is. There is a bit of clutter. I think I want to set my easel up so I don't have to keep turning this, but it's part of the deal because everybody wants to see the entire process, so I want to make sure that they don't get cheated out of what they're showing up to see. And it does clutter a little bit, but I don't know. Even if I pulled my digital, I don't work on a pad, so if I pulled my digital stuff out, it would still be clutter and still have to take up my whole desk. I don't think I could. I don't know. I couldn't achieve all the stuff I wanted to the same way. There's still effects that I can't get digitally. Or at least I haven't been able to. But I'm gonna qualify that by saying that you have to try too, and I haven't been trying in a while. Spent a lot of time in the hospital after I started learning digital, and when I came out, we moved. There was a lot of stuff that went on. I got a little watercolor kit that I can travel with, so it's just as easy to work that. You went through a couple of surgeries too, right? That's probably the opposite. You probably find it easier to work digital because of that. Yep. Golden acrylics. Golden opens. As opposed to most of the other acrylics, you either need a slow drying agent or a fast hand to be able to blend well with them. But these opens, naturally you can kind of, they stay moist longer. Like they actually stay moist and manipulatable for a couple of days. Yeah, oils, I wouldn't even be able to work on this close surface. I don't really have anything for ventilation. Yeah, not just golden open, the whole open. Yeah, surgeries. Yep. I had 5 surgeries and was induced into a coma for a certain period of time. It was a long time recovering. I'm ready to go get my maul stick. It's a bigger surface than I'm used to, so I want to set my hand down and paint. You say you had a knee surgery or something? Oh, well, glad that she recovered. Yeah, I'm using airbrush either. That's a lot of cleanup. Plus, I don't, I've never really had anyone to teach me to use the airbrush. I know people that do, but most of the people that do don't want me to learn. I had that problem when I was tattooing. I had a lot of artists that had animosity that I had the skills that I had artistically. So they thought of it as like a competition, and I didn't really get that because, like, when you're working with somebody, you're working for somebody. It's not a competition, you're doing a job. Like, I was working for some of these guys. You would think that they'd want me to be at my absolute best because I'm making money for them, but they wanted bragging rights more. I have a set of gouache. My gouache is Winsor and Newton. I don't use them so much, mostly because they're basically watercolor, and well, I don't know. I go back and forth. I think I can get a better mix out of watercolor. People say that once you lay down watercolor, there's no fixing it or whatever, but I've painted over watercolors with other watercolors and had no problem with it. It's just a matter of patience and knowing what you're doing and what your intent is. Gouache, it's the same buildup. They're both made of based on Arabic gum. I like the matte finish that it has. I guess I just haven't played around with it enough. One thing I found that was harder with gouache for me was that when I'd go wet over dry, it would reactivate a lot easier than I had the issues. I had issues with that more so than with the watercolor. But I didn't really do a lot of it. I didn't really, play around with consistency and water consistency and all that. See, another thing too, like when I paint with watercolor, I don't paint the way you're supposed to paint with watercolor. I paint in layers and build it up and build it up and build it up, and sometimes the consistency is barely any moisture at all, and it doesn't lay down a lot of paint in a stroke, but it lays down a thick opaque coat. I guess it just depends on the effect that you're trying to get. I've done, I guess, a lot more with watercolor too than with the gouache. I really love the idea of gouache, though. I love to watch James Gurney use gouache. Makes me feel somehow stupid that I couldn't get it as quickly as some of the other things.
I had to name that one. Holy. Word. What's going on?
Me and Joe B are discussing different paints, different painting techniques. Huh?
Very groovy. Very groovy. Coming up on 3-hour mark.
That's nothing new for us,
Yeah.
but I feel accomplished so far.
Well, you accomplished a lot, man.
Gotten a lot of things in. I haven't gotten Cthulhu's head done, but I've got some of his body done.
Right on.
I've got the robed figures, basically, the shadows done. The woman, the shadows done.
Right.
I was hoping to get to the moon and all that, but it's really more important that I get the shadow layer done, because it's going to look more complete for both me and you guys. Because then you'll see what's happening, where I'm heading, kind of.
Bang, 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 bang.
A lot of this stuff I'm going to paint over later, or layer over, or wash over. It definitely slows it down, making it so you have to do it so everyone can see what you're doing.
Right on. Surprised Steve hasn't called me yet.
No?
Yeah, he's off tonight, so I'm expecting anytime.
To game.
You getting on, man?
What?
He usually says, "You getting on tonight, man?" Then when I get on, he talks for about 3 hours, and then he plays maybe 5 minutes, and then he's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna go to bed. I drank too much." He's like, "Yeah, okay, that's good." It's either that or I'm fighting with him.
Because he's drank too much?
Of course, he's drunk, think he knows everything, and act like I'm still little Joe. So
Right.
it's wonderful. Man.
He must be pretty lonely where he is.
Yeah. He's been living with Eugene forever, but he's just a grouchy old man.
And Eugene doesn't ever sound impressed with the fact that he's staying with him, but he doesn't ever say anything to change it,
Yeah.
Like, I definitely don't blame him. It's nice to know that we don't have to worry about him, but as far as that goes.
Right.
But I can see that wearing on Eugene. Steve's personality.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say Steve's personality can be kind of heavy sometimes.
Yeah. Plus, Eugene's got.
Well, Eugene is too, though.
Yeah, and he's got Symphony and Jade there, and Beth's ex-boyfriend lives there.
Oh, Jade's there too?
Yeah.
Beth's ex-boyfriend? Wow.
Yeah. That's because he pays rent. I don't know, man. I only know what I hear. I'm just happy I'm not in that situation.
Yeah. I agree. It's funny that family can either be exactly what you need or exactly what you don't.
Right.
Like, they can define you by making you not ever want to be around them or be like them.
Right.
Or they can define you by making you want to be around them all the time.
Steve fluctuates.
Is that what we're calling it these days?
Yeah. I mean, he ain't too bad unless he, well, but once he like hits a certain limit drinking, I'm like,
I guess that's why I never really have been much of a drinker.
same here.
You don't see the attraction to being, I don't know, some stuff either makes me instant asshole or
Right.
there's quite a bit of stuff that just makes me instant asshole.
Mm.
I could do without being instant asshole.
Right.
I don't like getting sick and puking, and that's the other stuff that doesn't make me instant asshole. Usually gets me to the point where I want to puke at some point in time in the night, or everything is spinning, or it doesn't do anything.
Right.
I've had. Oh shit! We drank. Me and Mickey and you drank a keg one night. Like, sat through the night till dawn drinking a keg, just the three of us. Never got a buzz.
Was it Old Duels or something?
No.
Dang.
Nope. It was Bush, but
wow.
Doesn't matter. It just didn't get a buzz, and like we weren't slamming the cups or whatever, but just didn't seem to do anything.
Yeah.
Pretty bad when you're at a party all night and everyone leaves and you just go to bed because you're bored.
Bud Lights for everyone. I like that. That was Joe B.
What's that? Oh.
Joe said Bud Lights for everyone.
Yeah, never was a Bud Light drinker either, so I guess I got that in my favor.
I like Bud Green.
Yeah, I did a little too much of that.
I don't even smoke half as much as I used to, man. I mean, I picked up my pen, hit it 3 times, and fit for a couple of days.
I can't smoke anything. Heart
Yeah.
condition severely limits your ability to do that kind of shit.
Mm.
And that's why I said I did way too much of it. Composition is sticking out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so weird looking at stuff upside down.
You ever seen that dude that does the paintings? He does the whole painting upside down.
I have.
That shit's crazy, dude. But then when he flips it around, it's like, oh man, really good, really fucking good.
Yeah, a lot of those people there, they're looking at references that you can't see,
All right.
and they're looking at them upside down.
Oh.
And now I'm not saying all of them do, but I know some of them do.
Right.
Alright. I have my times when I can, like, I'll draw in pen and it'll turn out perfect and it'll be a huge thing, and then other times it's like warm-up drawings. Sometimes it's just crap. Nothing works out.
Right on.
Coughed right into the mic, turning my head.
What was that?
I said I coughed right into the mic while turning my head. I said not cough into the mic.
It was just a mic check.
Yeah, right.
Make sure it was working.
Now I've got to get my head in the way because I can't see. Such tight. Tight space in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Did you hear that?
Oh no.
My stomach's making like growling and everything.
Most of us call that hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe. Yes, Joe B. I use open as a wash. That's actually this gray, this Payne's gray. That's a wash. A lot of times I use this thinner. This is open thinner. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. And I have some on the plate too. And it does a really thin coat. But for this, I've been trying to have a base that I can work off of. It's, as you know, a hell of a lot easier to work on something with very fluid colors in your brush, which is what that thinner does. It's basically makes them a lot more like oils, but thinner oils. It's a wash too, but you can blend in that wash, and I can take that invisible blending, just that blending on its own, and wipe off a spot that I don't like. So I can basically use it as an eraser. I mean, the thicker it is, the less likely you're going to be able to do that cleanly. But I've done that, like in the last Cthulhu painting I did that a couple of times. Either dropped the brush or whatever, because the last Cthulhu painting I was painting it outside. So switching brushes. So like I was saying, it's good to give that brush a rest so it doesn't cake up and become vinyl in the brush while it's drying.
Right.
So what I think I'm going to do is, because there's not a whole lot of time left, I mean, it's almost midnight, I'm going to hit a couple of the spots here. All the rest of that's pretty much been double hit except for Cthulhu. So I'm going to hit a couple of spots here, and then I'm probably just going to call it for the night.
All right.
As I get into this more and more, and I may not go every other night, I may pop on tomorrow night if nothing's going on, because once I start getting into it, I don't want to stop until I'm done.
Right.
And I've got other life outside of here, and I'm sure you do too. But it's starting, as more and more comes to life, more and more I want to just keep going.
Hey Joe, he's saying, yeah, also on Amazon, reading reviews on open. He thinks he sold. Like, my wife is going to love this portrait of it.
Wow, your wife looks like my friend Brett. That's what Brett was claiming last time, right?
Right on, yeah. I'm starting to feel love here.
It's nice to see somebody show up and talk.
Yeah, man.
Are you painting while you're hanging out? You know, I first heard about golden opens from Mike Hoffman.
Mm.
And he paints with a cheaper basic base coat, and then does the opens for the consecutive coats. But a lot of his stuff is mainly for reproduction. Like Boris talked about that. He paints oil over acrylics, but he doesn't care about whether or not it's going to last because he's painting for reproduction. He's painting to be reproduced in a magazine.
Mm.
Now his paintings are probably a lot more particular.
Right.
Because he's retired from most of that.
Hey, Joe writes, I was researching Open and going through the Discord group checking out daily activity. I just read someone using Open like watercolors. Interesting.
What's that? Someone using open. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's just depending on how thin you want to get it. You can do that with any acrylics, though. There is slow drying medium that you can do that with, where it thins it out like that. I know Joe Jusko was talking about maybe trying out opens, and he normally uses Liquitex soft body, but they've recently started changing the formulas on some of the paints, so they're not doing the same colors.
Hey, what's up, Dan?
As they were. Hey, brother. Yeah, I'm about ready to shut down myself.
Yeah, man. Yeah, have a good night too, man.
I'm just finishing this last set of really darks. Yeah, when there was one viewer, it was him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you know. He's somebody I can depend on.
Can't wait to see how it turns out. That's Dan's last message. Yo, take it easy, man. Yeah. All right, later, man. We say later. Good night, man.
Yeah, good night. Good night, brother.
Yeah.
That guy makes everyone else that says that they wanted to show up or they wanted to hang out look like wusses.
Right.
Like I said, you can depend on him.
There's Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Freehold.
Yep. It's Jake's brother.
All right. Better late than never.
He's also another one of my writing compadres.
He's like, I'm a wuss, all right. Just says, yeah, one day you will have 500 viewers, and I can say I was watching when there was only one viewer.
One day I'll have what? 5 viewers?
500. Yeah, man, 5 viewers.
I have to get to 1,000 to make any money. Hopefully I get to 500. Oh boy, my business model.
Maybe you can start cloning some of your viewers.
Well, if I only, I'm gonna pull a Blackie Lawless, and if I only had a better personality. Blackie Lawless he had that penis cannon that he used on stage.
Yeah.
And it blew up on him and set his cup on fire.
Wow.
And he looked at the band backstage and he's like, I wouldn't have to do this shit if we wrote better songs.
Yeah. Ow!
My brushes are starting to get tired.
Your brushes are getting tired?
Yep, my brushes are getting tired.
Oh.
Well, when they're getting tired, they don't want to hold their shape like they've been beat up.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They've been wet and clogged up and everything else all night, so now they don't want to
I
hold
have a
their shape.
girlfriend like that. But after a good night's sleep, she was good to go.
Guess I'm gonna have to do that erasing trick I was talking about. But did you see it?
Yes, I did. You showed the technique that you spoke of.
It is very cool.
Yeah, man.
To be able to have that ability. As you can see, as it gets thicker, it gets harder.
Right, huh?
One of the issues with that is it'll take a little bit longer to dry too.
Right.
That's good if you want to be able to work your material a bit more.
Uh-huh.
Not so good if this is a base coat and you want to add on to it. Yeah, I lifted that thin line out. Probably you can't see that, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
Really, man?
Knocking everything over.
Mm.
It's that time of night for me too. Normally we end a half hour ago.
Right on.
Like if nothing else, I've got a base coat on everything that I need that's brown except for a couple of spots in the tentacles, and those I've got to decide what I'm going to do with too yet. So
Right on.
I don't want to be too heavy-handed in there until I do. He call you yet?
No, not yet. I'm
Maybe.
surprised.
Maybe you got too drunk, right?
He might be talking to Jake too, man. Jake's been going through it. His mom's not doing too good.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Right on.
It's always worse too when you can relate because your mom, you know,
Oh, I don't know.
like my mom has had some hard times before.
Mom too.
Right? Sucks. It's so weird that you think that you're gonna have your mom forever, right?
Right.
You don't think about this kind of stuff until you have to.
Right.
So there's two tricks to keep. Well, there's much more than two, but two I know of right offhand to keep the acrylic paint from drying and you having to throw expensive paint away
Right.
when they're spritzing them, which I'll probably do. The other is to put some saran wrap over it. And that's also one that I will probably do.
Okay.
So, for the time being, I'll turn this thing around. I think 12:06, yeah, that'd be it for the night. You're shocked you're still awake. I can't say I am. Usually I'm writing until 2 o'clock in the morning. Me and Mark do Wordle usually around midnight or so.
Yeah.
That depends on how tough the word is, whether or not it lasts very long. So let's see. I'll lift the camera up a little bit. See if we get a better angle. I'm going to do that trick of turning this light out because I don't need the paint right now. Looks a little bit more.
Right
That's
on.
weird. I can block this light out this way, and you can see what I was just working on a lot clearer.
Right on.
And you can see the colors on the clip, how they blend in. Let's see. Turn this light off and see what happens.
Oh.
Can everyone see that better now that those two lights are turned out? I mean, I couldn't see to paint it like this. It's much darker here.
Right on.
But I guess I'm wondering how everybody else sees it there.
That's it.
I
That's
wanted,
it. Pretty good, man.
I wanted to get to the moon and lay out the wings tonight too. But I also wanted to get that brown in, and that brown takes up a lot. So I think there's just a little bit of brown left for the base coat, but I might, instead of starting on his head with the brown, I might start like when I was talking about putting the red orange in the wings.
Yeah.
I might do the tentacles like that so that it helps be a little bit less confusing. You see it better now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody sees it better now, yeah. But if you saw it the way I see it right now, I can't see it very well at all. You guys can see it because you can see it in the overhead, and the camera's picking it up really, really well. I think the camera's picking it up lighter, actually. I want to see if I can adjust that a little bit.
We were catching a lot of glare.
Next stream. Yeah. That's another thing. There's nothing I can do about that if I want to see.
Oh, I know.
But once I get these base coats done, which there's going to be a base coat in the fire, base coat in the moon, base coat in the wings, and really for the tentacles, enough for the suction cups. Once I get that stuff done, though, I think it's going to go to the easel, and then the light will strike it different. The camera will strike it different because it'll be upright for me.
Yeah.
So you might get a glare from the overhead light that these ones actually cut down. So everyone that hung out the whole time, thanks a lot for hanging out the whole time. It was great having some people hanging out and talking.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
I see maybe one more session. I think it's going to even be a longer session. I might start earlier the next time if we can work it out, because if I can start earlier the next time, then I won't have to worry about running out of time, and I'd love to get all the base coat done.
Right on.
then I can pop it up and start doing the modeling and then the details. Super cool. All right. Thanks, you all. Have a great night. If you haven't hit like and subscribe, hit like and subscribe. It's free.
Right. Yeah, guys.
If you have, thanks. Have a good night.
Good night.